Hello, guys. Sexywalls podcast with exotic wall finishes. Your host, Giancarlo Sagasti, guys. Sexywalls podcast. We're going to be talking about toys today. Toys meaning the things that we use for our line of work. So, what I do is decorative wall finishes. That is Venetian Plaster Marmorino, guys. So, when you go into somebody's house to do basically a wall finish or the whole house or just an accent wall, there's a couple of things you need to bring with you. You need to bring paper to cover up the floor. You need to bring tape. You need to bring a screwdriver to unscrew stuff on the walls, whatever there is, right? Then you need your ladder. You need a ladder from a 4 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot, scaffolding from a mini scaffold to a normal baker scaffolding. I use Metaltech scaffolding. They actually sponsor me. I'm a big Metaltech fan. I collect scaffolds for fun, guys, for fun. I have a whole bunch of scaffolds. I remember when I just started my business, I bought me my first scaffold and I was so happy. I spent, what was it, at that time, I think it was $220, something like that. So I was so happy with the scaffold. I treated it like a baby. Now these Metaltech scaffolding are the adjustable ones that you could put on staircases. You know, you move it up, down like this, round staircases, all types of staircases. They had rubber wheels, so that's good for the towel, stuff like that. So I had my first baker scaffolding, and then I had a friend said, "Hey, I have a whole bunch of scaffolding. Keep it outdoor. I don't want them. I'm moving. You could keep them." I'm like, "Hell yeah!" You know, I just started my company, so I didn't have that much money. So I went and I picked them up. They were a little bit rusted. You know, I have my scaffolding, all my scaffolding underneath the roof now, so the rain doesn't damage them. So these scaffolds that I took from this particular person were all rusted. The wood was shitty. It was nasty. I did take it. I used it for a couple of jobs and then I threw them away. You know, when I started making more money, I bought more scaffolds. I have a bunch of scaffolds now. Uh, it's bad. You know, you're working in high-end, multi-million-dollar homes. You don't want to come in with bad, ugly equipment, rusted equipment. Looks like you found it in the streets, and I actually took it from the streets, from somebody's backyard. But yeah, so you want to work with clean, good-looking stuff. Like meaning, so if you have a ladder, right, and you're a painter or a plasterer or drywall or whatever it is, and you look at the ladder and be like, does this ladder look like shit? In your mind, if it looks like shit, it looks like shit to other people's eyes. Okay, throw it away. Throw it away. Buy yourself a new one. That's what we call investing. Okay, you have to buy it. You look at the scaffold. You look at the wood of the scaffold. When I do like really dark colors, like blues and reds, I actually put construction paper on top of the wood part of the scaffold, so you know it doesn't get that dirty, stuff like that. I sometimes clean the scaffold with pressurized water hose. That helps out a lot. Um, so if it becomes too dirty, I try to clean it the best I can. If not, I replace it and I buy myself a new one. It's just the way it is, you know. You keep it as long as you can, but as soon as it starts looking really bad, looking a little shitty, I highly recommend it. Just throw it away because, you know, like I said, you work in high-end homes. You know, you want to come in a little bit more presentable in that sense. You know, even with your tools. You know, this is toys too. Exotic line trowels, Marino tools, whole collection of tools, 18 karat gold. This becomes a toy for you. You collect a whole bunch of them. And these are the tools that we use for our trade, putting decorative wall finishes on the walls. So we have a whole collection from spatulas, knives from 1 inch all the way to 5 inches, all different sizes of trowels, large, medium, small trowels. These are what we call our toys. We take care of our toys, right? When it becomes too shitty looking, I keep them here at the office to use for future classes, stuff like that. But remember, one broken in trowel is worth more than 10 brand new trowels. So normally those broken in trowels are the best trowels that they are. So these, when I get new ones, I start sanding them down, stuff like that. Even remember, these are all factory edge cut, laser cut. They're all laser cut. So some companies come around with a sander, a machine that sands it. Some don't, so you have to sand it down. But even the machines that sand it, I still recommend it to sand it. You know, with like 1,000 grit sandpaper and stuff like that. Even your little spatulas, the little spatulas 2 inches, 3 inches, because you use that for the walls to burnish, to whatever it is. So you want to keep those pretty smooth as well. So scaffoldings, ladders, anything that you could use that makes you go higher, try to keep it as clean as possible. One thing I dislike is when I leave my scaffolding, my ladders in a particular job site. It's under construction. I leave there, the job, I go there, I do a section of the job, and they're like, all right, nothing is ready for you anymore. You finish this portion, come back next week. So there's two things you do. You take your scaffolding with you, or you leave it there with you. Sometimes it's a headache to take it with you, right? Because you're in a condo, elevator, had to wait for it, stuff like that. You know what? I'll leave it. I have a whole collection of scaffolding and ladders at my house or at my place of business. I'll use those. What I dislike about that is that other contractors don't respect your stuff. You come back and your scaffolding looks like shit. The drywallers use it and mud falls on it. They don't clean it, paints on it. I hate that shit. Hate that shit with a passion. It's so disrespectful, man. If you know you're a messy worker and you're using somebody else's stuff, at least cover it up, man. Have some respect for that. So I dislike leaving my stuff at job sites, but I have to sometimes because it's easier, so I know everything is already there. Polisher machines, a machine that polishes. That's super important to have in this line of business. When we started working, we didn't have polisher machines. Polisher machines weren't even invented yet, okay? Our polisher machines was a rag and our arm, okay? This was the polishing machine. This, doing huge ass ceilings, huge ass walls. Dude, your shoulder was about to fall off. Your neck is about to fall off. Yeah, you're all beat up. And this is all because of this motion, all right? Because after you do the shiny Venetian plaster, you wax it, and to polish it, to buff it up, you use a rag and you start polishing it, right? Just like the same way a polishing machine does it, right? And we're like, dude, there has to be a better way of doing this shit, man. Like our shoulder's about to fucking fall off, stuff like that. So, somebody, we got a car buffer. The car buffers suck. They're stupid as heck. They're slow. They have two handles, and when you put pressure on the wall, it goes even slower. It doesn't do anything. So that is just garbage. Throw away. These machines that we use are card polishers. They're not called card buffers or nothing like that. The proper terminology, the term is polishers, okay? They come in different brands, from Milwaukee, DeWalt. They have cheaper brands as well. The first one I bought, I was so happy. It was a cheaper brand from Harbor Freight. I was so happy, man. You didn't have that much money, and you spend 50, 60 bucks on something, or scaffolding, 200 bucks. There's money that you need, and you buy it to make your company better, man. You're so happy, man. I was like a little kid, happy with my polisher, putting it together. Man, I remember that, man. It was a nice little feeling having it. That it felt so good. I bought me a second one within 2 weeks later because for my other guys, my employees, to use it, stuff like that. And then I've used the DeWalt polisher before, the Milwaukee polisher, and you knew there was a difference from the cheap one to the more expensive one. These DeWalt polishers depends where you get them, from 180 all the way to 280, depends where you get it, But I highly recommend it. And you got to get the good paddling, the good wool paddle. I have videos in my YouTube channel about polisher machines and all that, whole bunch of them. So when I upgraded to the DeWalt, oh man, I felt like a king. I spent, I'm guessing like $200 and something on it. Now you can get them a little cheaper, but I bought it. I was so happy. That was my baby. I was like, forget these other little polishers. I'll let the employees use it, but this one is my bad boy baby. It was a toy. And then I started getting multiple ones. I have a whole collection of polishers now, very proud of that. Having a whole bunch of these different items to make my work and my employees' work way easier for us. Very, very important. I do not like battery polishers. I fucking hate them. I dislike them. I have one. They're good when you're going super high, and you don't have an extension, or you don't want to set up an extension to go all the way up, So that's what they're good for. But the problem is that they're not that fast. You know, the battery starts dying and they start going slower and slower. And we're talking about we're using them for hours, polishing stuff, boom, 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 boom. You know, jumping from one job to another. Of course, you always have to keep charging. Yeah, I have like 3 chargers. I charge one, use one, starts dying, boom, boom. But I dislike it. I dislike it for that. It is lighter though than the other ones. But I don't like them because they're not as strong as the ones that you connect. Same thing with blowers, same thing with anything. Anything that you connect to power is way stronger. But I do have it, I do use it as well. So, but I use it in high areas when I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have this guy polishing this, so I don't have 100 feet, 50 feet or whatever, electrical cord. I didn't bring it, I forgot it, blah, 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 or it's in another job, I have that. So I like that, and then having, of course, extension cords for your projects, for the polisher machines is very important to have that. If you could afford it, buy a couple, have your employees have it in their car, stuff like that, I hate having my car looking like a storage room. So I bring what I need at the jobs. I hate opening my car and it's a freaking mess. It's dirty. It looks nasty. I hate that. I just bring what I need. Boom, and I clean my car so my cars look good all the time. But some people have their cars like a Home Depot. That's the way my garage is, like a Home Depot. I have everything I need there. And that's good too, because when I need something, one of my guys is like, oh, I got it in the truck. Oh man, we need some company. Oh, I got it in my truck. That's like, it's a freaking saver. But I don't like having all that crap in my car, so it's good that you have employees that do that, But, because your car is your best employee. Your car, hear that again, your car, that's another toy, is your best employee. Without that car, you can't go to job sites. Without that car, you cannot meet clients, okay? So that car, you make sure you do the oil changes, make sure you change the tires, rotate the tires, clean your car, treat that car like your baby, because that's what it is. That's, like I said, your best employee. Without that car, you can't do shit, So that's another toy that considers in the toy box. Okay, so there's a couple of toys that we use to do our walls. So very super important. If you don't have them, collect them, start having them. It's what I do, guys. This is what I do for a living. I love what I do. I do this type of stuff for fun. And everything that I know I need in a job, I already have it. Because I'm a man of experience, basically. So guys, tip of the day, have some good toys, for your line of work, for your career. Sexywalls podcast. Stay tuned for the next one, guys.